Welcome to the Tennessee Community Engaged Alliance Against COVID-19 Wellness Wednesday show. On today's edition, I have some special guests. This is all about the youth perspective on COVID-19. Welcome, everyone. How are you all doing today? How was school?
It was good. It was a great day at school.
It was really good. It was really good.
Very good.
Awesome. Robert Franklin, how was school?
Amazing.
It was pretty chill. It was pretty chill.
So as we get started, can you all tell us your first and last name and your age? And we'll start with Faith.
My name is Faith Wright, and I am 16 years old.
My name is Franklin Wright. I'm 13 years old.
My name is Joshua Ogiyemi, and I'm 6 years old.
My name is Robert Brown, and I am 13 years old.
My name's Elena Jimenez, and I'm 17 years old.
Welcome, everyone. So for our viewers around the world, we have a diverse panel tonight with some amazing scholars, and you are in for a treat. So here's my first question for you all. How do you feel about wearing a mask?
I actually don't mind it because most of the time I just forget it's there.
Well, I feel about wearing a mask is not so good.
Tell me about that, Joshua. Why not so good?
It's because I want to breathe more air.
All right.
I would have to agree with Robert. I tend to forget that my mask is on my face, so it's not that bad for me. And I think since we've been wearing masks since like last April, it's easy for me to forget.
I also don't mind wearing a mask at all, just because we've gotten so used to wearing one at school that it's just a normal thing now. Although, like at the school that I go to, it's not really required anymore. But students still wear masks, and it's just a normal thing every day.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna be the odd one out here. I kind of don't like wearing my mask because it gets uncomfortable sometimes, and then sometimes I do forget it's there. But you have at my school, it's required to have it over your nose, and sometimes like when I talk, it comes down, and then I feel like in a way it's more comfortable because sometimes I just kind of like it's just like, oh my god, it's something on my face, or like if you sneeze or something, you forget your mask is there. You're like your whole face gets wet.
Okay. So you all are student leaders in your community. And I'm really curious to know, what is life like as a student during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, how I feel about that is not so happy.
Tell me a little more about that, Joshua.
It's because that when there's too much people around, we have to wear our mask, and we don't get to breathe more air, more fresh air.
Okay.
When you're at the circus or anywhere where a lot of people go.
So you want your fresh air back, Joshua. That's what I'm hearing, right?
Right.
Anyone else want to share?
I'd like to say that COVID has like impacted not just like my daily life at school, but academically too, because it's not just the students that it impacts, it also impacts the teachers, because it's a struggle with every day going to school and having to expect your teacher to be there and they're not there due to COVID because they also have their own health issues. And it's a struggle because you're trying hard to just get your school done, and I'm a senior in high school right now. So I'm just trying hard to be able to graduate this year, have a good graduation. And it's a struggle, just not just for me, for everybody, with like having to rely on yourself now, whether your teacher's there or not, whether you have any students there or not. It's just now it's more of like you have to rely on yourself virtually and at school.
Mm-hmm.
I want to piggyback off of Elena because I'm also a senior this year, and like our sophomore year got cut off. So I didn't get to go to prom my junior year because we weren't allowed to have other people from other schools come to our prom. I missed out on sophomore homecoming and junior homecoming. So it's like as a student, I've already missed out on a lot of social events because of COVID. And then it's like now that I'm back in school, it's still limited social events because of COVID. So I'm missing out on that. And then, like she said, academically, any little thing can cause your teacher to have to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Like just I feel chills. You have to go home because you could have COVID. I have a headache. You have to go home because you may have COVID. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
kind of like what she said, we have to depend on ourselves to teach ourselves sometimes because you never know when your teacher could just up and have to go home because they could be possibly have COVID, or you never know when you have to go home because you may have COVID. Like I was contact traced a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know that I had been in school 4 days after being exposed. I had already been in school for 4 days,
Mm-hmm.
and I know thankfully, the day that they told me to go home, we had a 4-day weekend and then I could return back to school. But there are some kids who don't get that 4-day weekend. And then we're not allowed to go to virtual school at all. So it's like you're doing your own work at home. You have to depend on yourself and other students to give you your work. It's very hard. Teachers aren't allowed to do Zoom. So you can't Zoom class. You can't Zoom a class. So you're trying to teach yourself what you should be learning in school. And then it's also like some children have to learn with one-on-one. And I know I'm one of those people who like one-on-one time with my teacher, and it's hard to have one-on-one time because you can't be that close.
Yeah.
So the only way that you can truly learn is right there in the classroom. And if you don't get it then and there, then you may not get it at all.
Mm. Thank you both for sharing that perspective, because it seems like many people may have forgotten. If you're a senior right now, you spent those fundamental years, sophomore and junior year, quarantined for the most part, and now you're at the senior year, and it's still a new normal. I'm curious, Robert and Franklin, what are your thoughts on what is it like as a student during the COVID-19 pandemic?
I mean, I feel like as an eighth grader, it's like we're next year we're leaving school. Seventh grade year was pretty much like cut in half. So everything was kind of like when COVID hit, everything was put on pause, literally. Like places closed down. You couldn't go anywhere. You were stuck in the house. If you had to go somewhere, you were extra precautious. And then now as a student, we have to go back to school. People get exposed to COVID all the time. You get contact traced, you get sent home, all of that. Just like how Faith was saying, if you get sent home, you kind of just have to depend on what your teachers post on Schoology at this point. If they don't post like in tutorial videos, you're kind of just going to be stuck. You have to figure it out. And then it's just like wearing your mask, you're not used to it in a way. But I mean, we got used to it because after a while, it kind of just like went away. But I mean, COVID is just it's different. Like and like you have to wipe your desk off and stuff and do all of that type of stuff. Like just to make sure that you're safe and secure. And people still get COVID.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So COVID in school for me is actually agitating because more than 50% of the kids who go to the school don't know how to keep the mask above their nose. And when they sneeze, you can literally see the sneeze projectile out of the nose, and it's just not comfortable. And since me and Franklin go to the same school, we do have to wipe our desks down, but sometimes if the teachers don't have wipes, it's just like a whole situation where it's just like there's nothing you can really do besides just sit there and just like hope the person who sat there doesn't have COVID. Also, the thing with contact tracing, no one knows how to sit in the seat. So contact tracing is the most difficult thing ever. Like, there's nothing, they can't contact trace correctly.
Yeah, I heard you, Faith, kind of saying the words. That was, what did you say? That was true. You were agreeing. Okay.
I want
So,
to piggyback on the contact tracing thing.
yes.
I just want to say that it's actually really difficult this year with contact tracing because I don't know if in different schools if they still do the contact tracing, but in my school we don't do that anymore. And so we hit a point where everybody was sick and it was such a struggle because I have you have to have sympathy with these teachers because they don't know what they're doing anymore when all of their students are gone and they can't even virtually teach anymore because at my school we don't virtually teach anymore. So we're just at school, and if you're not at school, then you miss out on everything. So I like contact tracing. It is difficult, honestly, because there's no possible way of tracing every single student in that school as soon as possible to get them out of the school because of a sickness or because they have COVID. So it literally affects everybody in that school because you won't know until like a few days after, and they've already contacted them with who knows, a sneeze, a cough, and you're already affected by it either way. So there's not really no preventing it anymore. It's just you're just gonna have to catch it at an earlier time.
Wow. Joshua, were you raising your hand?
No.
Okay.
I kind of want to
So,
also piggyback. Oh, my bad.
yeah, jump in, Franklin. Jump right on
I
in. This is
kind
a
of want to
great
also piggyback
conversation.
off of. I kind of also want to piggyback off of Robert because he's true. Some of the students don't always have. Some of us, we don't always have our mask up, especially at recess time. I feel like recess time is the most congested COVID spreading time that we have throughout our day. Recess time and probably related arts when we have to walk through the hallways because we meet literally like two grades. We bump into seventh graders and we also bump into sixth graders. So literally our schedules collide and everything, and we never know who could have COVID. A sixth grader could have COVID and give it to an eighth grader. An eighth grader could give it to their friends, which gives it to somebody else who takes it home to their family. You never know. That's why contact trace is also really hard because also like when we're at recess, it'll be people can have no classes together but still play with each other at recess since we're still like in middle school, so we still get recess literally. And then at lunchtime also we walk in those when we're in the lines, we're really like bunched up and congested, and sometimes people don't have masks, so it's really hard to figure out like if this person sneezes, I don't know, maybe they could be sick or maybe it's allergies or something. And like literally someone can cough in my math class and everybody will look at them like, are you okay, are you sick or something? So yeah.
Wow. I just want to say that you all are so brave for being able to go through it and have a conversation about it. And I know many adults, we really feel it's saddening that you all have to have this experience that none of us could have ever anticipated. And we're doing our best as a community to work through it. But I want to pivot a little bit and just ask you more on a personal note. How have you personally been impacted by COVID-19? We talked about the student perspective, but are there any other ways that you feel that you've been impacted by this pandemic? And anyone can jump in.
The way I've been affected is every single time I go home from school, I okay, so before COVID, I used to just like go home, put my pajamas on, and then like went to the end of the week to wash all my clothes. But now that COVID's happened, every single time I get home, I take a shower, I literally wash the clothes I wore that day and put them in the dryer, just so like my clothes don't get contaminated, so I don't get contaminated, and my family gets like sick.
Yeah. And that's interesting, right? That at your age, at eighth grade, you have to think about that. about coming home, rushing in to decontaminate and not bring something home to your family, almost so that children that I hear where they say that, they got COVID and they brought it home, to their families, they think, right, that has to be a stressor, like a burden. So yeah, that's a different experience. I'm not sure people always consider your lens on that. Anyone else want to chime in? Because that's an interesting perspective. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Um, I would say personally, the way that COVID has impacted me is I found at the beginning of COVID, I was okay. I was fine. I was like, we're going to be back in school. Everything is going to be handled well. But as it progressed and I entered my junior year, I found myself getting very I'm not gonna say depressed, but I felt I didn't feel like myself anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I lost myself essentially because of COVID and because of the fact that I've been isolated, which caused me to be impacted, which caused my academics to be impacted. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like COVID has truly changed the way that I feel about school and other stuff, like kind of like what Robert said. When I come home, I change my clothes. I wash my hands, I change my clothes. Even with groceries, we wipe down our groceries before we put them inside of our refrigerator because we don't know who has touched what in the grocery store. If people have washed their hands, we wipe down everything. I have like 6 or 7 different hand sanitizers in my room. It's just we're very we try to stay as safe as possible. And it's like our daily lives are really impacted. And I think the isolation that we had with quarantine made it worse. But now that we're back out and in the world, I feel like it's also bad too because we are, well, I know that I'm more afraid of getting sick because I'm like, we're allowed to be everywhere. Masks aren't required to be worn.
Mm-hmm.
And not everyone is vaccinated, and the vaccine doesn't keep you from getting COVID. It just helps you fight it off better. And it's also like there's variants of COVID. So I know that I'm afraid of, okay, well, what if I do get the vaccine, or what if I have gotten the vaccine, but I get a variant? And underlying health conditions can make it worse. So I know that personally, I have become more afraid of getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
the well
We're
the way
listening, Joshua.
the way COVID affects me is when I was wheezing and coughing.
Okay. So the physical effects, absolutely.
I'd like to say personally, COVID has affected me, um, honestly, more mentally sometimes than even with health because, as I said, I'm a senior in high school. So beforehand, when COVID just started, I was a junior, and it's the year of your ACTs. It's the year of it's time for college. You're trying to get ready for all of this, and this pandemic just drops, and it just hits you hard because you were preparing yourself for your future. You're ready to like begin a future with a future job, your dreams, your passions, and everything. And it just hits hard because all this preparingness and it just drops out of nowhere because a pandemic has hit, and it's honestly a struggle mentally because it drains you out for how much work you put in as a student at school, or even me because I work after school, so even at work trying to get money for college, or because I play sports as well. My seasons are over, so I can't really have a focus on whether I get a sports scholarship or whether I can get an academic scholarship because school was over at that time. And afterwards, when we come back from school, it's hard because you're so focused on I have to get back up again because my grades have dropped, or get back up because this happened, or I got sick. And you have to really try hard now because you're alone at this point because teachers are sick as well, principals are sick, counselors are sick, everybody is sick at school. So you just have to worry, about yourself now, taking care of yourself, taking care of how your school is doing, taking care of your life afterwards, whether it's helping your family out too, because they're also getting affected with COVID and they're also getting affected with their jobs as well. My parents got affected really bad with their jobs. They had to be gone from their jobs months. And it's just a hard thing, not just by yourself, but with family as well, because you can see how hard, like mentally, it's just making them drain out. Like it just affected them really bad. And you work so hard to get to a point, and this pandemic hits, and it just makes your life just drop. So it's honestly, it's really sad because you parents expect their kids to have a good future, and this hitting them just makes it like very difficult. And I know for my parents, they want me to succeed really good, whether it's with school, whether it's with my dreams, passions, or anything. And it's a hard thing to help out your parents and also help out yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Elena, you raised so many amazing and heartfelt issues that maybe many adults don't know. And it seems like they really need to hear exactly all the different aspects that you all are saying. That, you went from having human contact to not being able to have human contact to having human contact, but being afraid of that human contact. And then the social adjustment, Faith said, at first I felt okay, but then I felt different, and you said, first it was okay, but then I felt sad. And then, Robert is sharing that, what that feels like to go to school and come home. It's a series of new normals back to back to back. So, Franklin, I want to give you a chance to chime in on that question as well before I go to my next question, because I'm learning so much from you all. You're absolutely amazing.
Well, I think it's gonna hit me personally because my mom, she doesn't have like the strongest immune system. So if I was to go to school and bring home COVID, I know that my body can fight it off, but I don't know about my sister's body or my mother's body because they both have weak immunity systems. And then also COVID has hit my family members. So it's a little bit harder because like it's kind of like that saying, you never know how it feels until it happens to you. And it's like I was kind of brushing it off at first, and then I kind of started taking it serious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do you feel that the community needs to know about COVID? What is it that they need to know?
I feel like, to be honest, someone just needs to tell them straight up. Like, the only reason why we really still have COVID is because people are constantly, like, all around Nashville, they just walk around without their masks on. Like, I've driven through downtown Nashville, and I just see people walking around all the time, packs of people walking past people without their mask on. Like, especially in like bird scooters, like people get on those all the time, and I've never seen anybody like wipe them off or anything like that. And I know maybe that shouldn't it, like, I know it's not required, but I mean, like, for germ safety, you never know what could be on that one of those scooters.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Anyone else? What does the community need to know?
I feel like our community should not keep this as a controversial thing, for COVID to just think it's a small-minded thing. It's not. A lot of people are really getting sick, and there's people who aren't strong enough to fight this, and it could
Mm-hmm.
cause death for many people. So I feel like we should not be small-minded, and we should take care of ourselves. Try to wear masks. Try to sanitize as much as you can, because we can't just think of ourselves anymore. We have to think about everybody now, because as much as a person could have the most strongest immune system ever, other people can't have such a strong immune system.
Yeah.
And you honestly have to think, if we're all going to still be affected, then you're not making a difference at all. So you might as well just take care of yourself, take care of others, wear a mask, sanitize, make sure
Yeah.
you're taking your vitamins, anything that you can do to prevent other people getting sick too, because as much as you're doing well, other people aren't, and it's never going to end if you don't help others.
Powerful.
I totally agree. Um, Kind of like what Franklin and Elena said, just wearing your mask, being mindful of others, like she said. If you may have the strongest immune system that you can think of. Like Franklin said, my mom and I don't have the strongest immune systems. It's very easy for us to get sick. I got the flu every single year from 7th grade through 10th grade. I got the flu
Mm,
every year in February. And I gave it to my mom each year. So
mm.
it's like, but Franklin wouldn't get sick. Franklin would be the only one in the house who's perfectly fine. And here my mom and I are with the flu.
Right.
It's very easy for some people to get sick, and underlying health conditions can make it worse.
Yeah.
And it's also COVID brings about other health conditions. People's lungs can be impacted, their heart, I've heard stories about people's brains and having neural problems after. It's so many things can happen just because of the fact that people are careless.
Mm-hmm.
The longer we stay careless, the more people will continue to be impacted, the more people who could die from this.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many ways that people's lives can turn negatively, rather than us being open-minded,
Yeah.
rather than being small-minded and just wearing our masks, trying to sanitize as much as we can, trying to quarantine as much as we can. Yes, we don't want to miss out on life, but then again, I would rather miss out on life than lose my life.
Powerful, Faith. Somebody should tweet that out. I hope they're putting it in the chat comments. I'd rather miss out on life than lose my life. That is tweetable. Robert and Joshua, what does the community need to know?
That the community needs to know is that from day one, COVID came to Nashville. People didn't take it seriously, and I bet you from the beginning to the end, people are still not gonna take it seriously. But one thing that they might need to know is that people right now are in hospitals because of COVID, and they need to take it more seriously. Like, wash your hands when you get home. I know people who don't wash their hands when they get home, and then a week later they get COVID because, well, who knows? They ate chicken and licked their fingers. And there are some long-term effects, like pulmonary hypertension. The like if you get COVID, it can lead to like clogs in the pulmonary arteries, and in the long term, it could give you pulmonary hypertension, which you really don't want. It's not the best.
Thank you, Robert. And that's an important point to consider, the long-term effects. So some people, like you say, are looking at the short term, but not considering what are the long-term effects afterwards. Joshua, anything that you feel that the community needs to know?
Be safe and wear your mask.
I love it. Be safe and wear your mask. I have one more closing question, but before I do that, I want to go around to each of you and ask you, is there anything else that you all would like to share with our viewers? Because people are going to see this show all around the world, and we want them to hear your perspective. So as you think about all that we've talked about relative to COVID-19, and I want to say this, you all are some of the most knowledgeable young people that I have talked to about COVID-19 and the pandemic. Your terminology, your understanding and comprehension is absolutely amazing. So a virtual hand clap to each of you, because you are dynamic, and I know that the future is bright for each of you. And so I want people to know, stay healthy, because these young people need to survive and thrive. They were created for a purpose. They matter, and their lives matter. So for each of you, before I get to my final question, is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers about your thoughts?
Well,
Yeah.
first I would.
Uh,
Okay. First, I would like to say thank you for taking this time to especially pick me and my sister out to speak on this and to try to help the community. And then secondly, I would like to say everybody just put your mask on. Hopefully we can get through this by 2022, maybe 2023, because I want to be able to live my life next year because I'm going to be 14 and I want to be able to have fun. So I just need everybody to just chill out, put your mask on, and just live your life. Just put your
Thank
mask
you,
on.
Franklin. Robert, did you want to go?
One thing I forgot to mention on the last question is, in my opinion, I don't care what the government says because they said masks are not required anymore. But I don't care if masks are required. I'm going to wear a mask to keep everyone safe because just because you can't wear masks doesn't mean COVID is over. Because I think we've all noticed that ever since masks were removed, the COVID cases started to go up again. It went down and then went up.
I would just like
Powerful.
to add on to what we were talking about, how it impacted our lives. I just want to say that I actually did have COVID once, and it was the most dreading moments of my life. Honestly, I cannot bear with the feeling that I had throughout the sickness. It was honestly just terrible how I felt like I couldn't breathe. It felt like my body was drained. I couldn't move. I felt terrible. And
Mm-hmm.
I from experience, I honestly say you guys really need to take care of yourselves because it's not just a simple little cold. No, the sickness is terrible. And for me, I have a really strong immune system and it hit me really hard. So imagine people who don't have a good immune system, who don't have the ability to be strong enough to fight this virus. Like it could hurt them so bad, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's with their lungs, whether it's with their heart, whether it's with
Yeah.
their brain. It could affect them easily. And these are people's lives we're talking about. It's not just a simple sickness. No, we're talking about people's lives that are online because people cannot take care of themselves. And I understand some people are just taking it easy, or there's people who are extremely scared, but we just have to think not just about ourselves. Let's not be selfish and think
Yeah.
about other people as well, because this sickness isn't something that we just want to take easy anymore, because we have gone years now. It's been at least 2 to 3 years now that we're going to
Yeah.
be with this sickness. And I want to be able to graduate and my mom to see me on that stage, walk across the stage and see me graduate. I want her to be there in person. I don't want to have to sit on a computer screen and
Absolutely.
get a diploma like that. Like I want a good life experience with a graduation and with my family as well. That's all I ask.
My mom is a nurse and she um makes people feel better. And she works at a hospital.
Was it a technical difficulty? Where did she go?
I think it was. I think her Wi-Fi may have gone out.
Oh, well, I've been backstage for a while. I'm a teacher, so I've been waiting. So I guess I was having some issues too. I got logged on at 6:01,
Mhm.
and I was been backstage the whole time watching y'all. Y'all been doing so great.
Thank you.
I guess we'll wait for her to come back in.
Yeah.
A few minutes, or maybe I'll take over. Faith, where did your brother go?
His phone overheated, so he's right here.
Mine did too. It cut off and everything, so I'm on the laptop.
I think his cut off too. He's trying to charge it back up. So here he is.
Well, I don't know if she's gonna come back or not. But I saw you all's perspective, and I deal with this on a day. Like I said, I'm a high school teacher, so I know exactly what you all are going through. And while we wait on her, I just give my backstory. So last school year, I contracted COVID after having a baby, and so I was hospitalized for a month. I actually got to end up having a pulmonary embolism where the blood clots travel from my legs to my heart and lungs. And so I was in the ICU, the COVID wing. So I know like firsthand, like the extreme effects of COVID, watching people die while I'm in ICU and seeing how bad this disease is. And as a teacher, seeing how frustrated you all are. I know y'all hate wearing the mask all day, and it's really hard to social distance, and how frustrating it is because, you know, like one of you all were talking about the contract tracing. It's so hard to do it. Like it's so hard to do it because, mind you, if you got a class, first period, okay, it's maybe like 30 kids, second period, another set of 30 kids, third period, another set, and go on and go on, so and so on. So by the end of the day, how many people has that one person that had COVID came in contact with? So it's really hard to do the contract tracing when, okay, she got COVID, she just touched her, she just gave her a hug, she just stopped by the locker, she just went to the lunchroom, she just went to the bathroom. 100 people by the end of the day, and there's no way to trace it, especially when some students and adults are they're asymptomatic. So they have no symptoms to even notify anyone that they have COVID because they're not experiencing any of the issues that people that are having the extremely, as you said, your mom. I know Faith, your brother was talking about how y'all immune system is weak, and that's scary. So like I have a 10-month-old and actually teaching every day because it's a profession that I chose to be in and that I really love and care about. But in this profession, every day that you go to school, you feel like, I'm hoping I'm not bringing nothing back home. So I know y'all are feeling that, and us as teachers, we're feeling that. And I have a baby, so when I'm holding her, I'm like, I hope to God I'm not bringing her back something. Like, and it's just a constant prayer and a constant struggle. And y'all are not having a real senior year, and that really sucks. So sorry. I mean, I hate it because I do have some students that are seniors, and I'm used to us having fun, having pep rallies, having all these activities, planning a senior picnic, and now it's just like blah. We're just here going through the motions with the mask, and some of us are quarantined, and some of us are just don't even care anymore. So I hate that. I hate that. I was reading the message in there. I hate that we're experiencing this, and I agree. One of you were saying that the numbers were going down, and then it just kind of seemed like people became more carefree about the virus and stopped wearing masks, and it just seems like people's just like, oh, it's going away. And like he touched on, he said it hit home when it happens to you. That's when you really start seeing it. Like I know, Elena, you were saying that you caught COVID, and it's absolutely horrible. I don't know if the rest of you have had COVID before, but it is literally the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. Like worse than the flu, worse than anything I've ever had. So it's a serious virus. And what I want people to know that we're all on the front line. The students, the teachers, everyone that comes in contact with the school, we're all fighting this virus daily because we don't have a choice. We have to be at school. We don't have the option. And it's like, what do you do? Except pray and hope that nobody close to you or you get sick. Or I took over Dr. Brown.
No, this is good. This is good stuff, Miss Kristen, because we were waiting for you in the beginning. So this is absolutely perfect. And it was a good segue because my last question, you kind of like went into it. So it was perfect. But here's my question. And I want you to answer this question too. So
Yes,
this is our closing question.
Okay.
What one word do you feel about COVID-19? So if you could wrap up all these different emotions that you feel, what's the one word that you feel about COVID-19? And we're going to leave all of our viewers with that one word. So whoever wants to go first, you can go first, Miss Kristen.
Fearful.
Fearful.
I'm very afraid because, like I was telling them, I had COVID last year, and I literally was in the ICU for a month, and COVID almost took me out of here. I almost left my family, left my friends, my mother, and everyone. So I've seen the worst end of COVID, and so going into the schools and doing this profession and trying to be as helpful as possible as a teacher to the students, it's very hard. Everyone's scared. Anytime someone's cough, it's like, oh my God, is it COVID? And then you have to leave there. And it feels like we're on the battlefield. We're on the front line. We're fighting this. And it's scary because you don't know what you're taking home and what tomorrow holds.
Thank you for your service. I know we say that to military people, but we need to start saying it to our teachers. Thank you for your service. We appreciate you for all that you do. We're going to go to Elena. What one word do you feel about COVID-19?
I feel like in one word, I'd say suffocating, because it's not suffocating just through your health, but mentally too. It just feels like you're in a box and you can't breathe anymore, and you are just stuck here not doing anything because you are sick, or because you mentally cannot do anything anymore because you are stuck in your house, isolated.
Absolutely.
Because it's COVID and there's not much you can do. So I'd say
suffocating. Thank you. Joshua, my good friend Joshua, what one word do you feel about COVID-19?
Upset, because that I don't get to go where I really want to go. That seems very fun. And my mom has to do all those people, like, to make them feel better.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Who wants to go next? Faith, Franklin, or Robert? Who wants to go next?
We'll go next.
Okay.
I said that COVID has made me feel isolated. Well, I know here in Nashville we had the tornado first. So the tornado, then COVID hit, and being out of school for the rest of my sophomore year, then my whole junior year. And now that I'm back in school, I still feel like I still feel different because, you know, I'm not allowed. We're not going to have a normal pep rally. We're probably not going to have, we didn't have a normal junior and senior prom. So I didn't go to prom because it wasn't a real prom. We're not going to have an actual prom. We're probably not going to have a normal homecoming. Everything is making me feel so
isolated.
Yeah, like Elena said, like we're in a box. We're stuck in this box, and you can't go out of the boundaries, or there's going to be repercussions because there's rules to everything because of COVID now.
Wow. Franklin or Robert, who wants to go next?
My word was overbearing.
Ooh.
Because I feel like ever since like when the tornado hit, I feel like we kind of recovered from that because there was a lot of help.
Yeah.
But since this is like a worldwide international type thing, it's hitting everywhere, every place. I feel like it's kind of like, I'm gonna use somebody else's word, it's kind of suffocating because
Robert.
I would say aggravating because it doesn't matter what you tell people, there's always going to be that 1 out of 5 people who don't like listen, like who don't wear their mask correctly, who act out, who want to play football without masks, like any type of sports.
Yeah.
So it's just aggravating.
Aggravating. So what I heard you all say was fearful, suffocating, upset, isolated, overbearing, and aggravated. And for our viewers, I want you to listen to those words. And I also want you to listen to the voices that they're coming from. This is our future leaders, someone who is helping to build our future leaders. And these are the words that they're feeling. So we have to take COVID-19 and this pandemic seriously. And as some people say, that out of the mouths of babes, you've heard their voices, and their voices are powerful, and we need to listen and take heed. And so for our viewers around the world, join us next time for Wellness Wednesday. Until then, stay healthy, wear your mask, I suppose if you choose, right? Wash your hands, and remember that health is caring, and caring about the community and other people, because these lives that you see that we interviewed today, those lives matter. And if you're watching this episode, your life matters too. Have a great day. And thank you all, amazing panelists, for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you all so much. You all have to come back. Will you give me your word you'll come back again and spend some more time with us? Because I want to see where we're at 6 months from now. We want to talk to Miss Kristen, see what the classroom is like, and Elena and Joshua and Franklin and Faith and Robert. We want to hear from you, and I want to hear how senior year is going for you all. And I want to catch up with you. So I look forward, hopefully to being here in the next 6 months so that we can have you all back. Because that's the time we live in, right? Well, you're just worried if you're going to be here tomorrow, right? So I want to stay healthy as well, so I can be here to hear your voices. So you all have just really been amazing today. So have a great day, everyone. Bye.